Hello everybody, my name is the Unknown Reviewer, and you're probably wondering, didn't you get pow-powed last, Wait, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, I said a trolley horse, man, please. Nope, that was my twin brother. He sucked. Let's get onto this review. I'm gonna turn on my mic, we're gonna close these blinds, and let's get into some movie news. Roll it! And, let's all take a moment of silence for my twin brother. Nah, I'm just kidding. That guy was sucker. I was always mom's favorite. To take a long last look at this beautiful setup that I have, because I might be getting a Halloween setup coming soon, maybe this weekend, maybe later, I don't know. But in this video, I'm going to be giving us some new movie updates regarding the Batman Part 2, getting some huge updates that I was honestly thinking about making its own video, but I just said I'm going to scram into this one. We got some Terminator 7 updates about some disappointing, actually, about, you know, maybe the film is having a rough start. And we also got some interesting updates from Matthew Lillard regarding Five Nights at Freddy's 3, and we're also getting some huge updates from Scream 7 regarding Gale and the Meeks twins, and also getting some Marvel updates regarding Spider-Man and Doctor Doom being some big part of the MCU, which is kind of shocking. But I'm going to be talking about so much more in this video, but the first thing I really want to talk about, we also got a new Marvel Zombies trailer today, which I rewatched. I didn't do a trailer reaction because I already did one, which go please check that out because it's really good. But I will say it's really good. I watched it, and I'm really hyped for Marvel Zombies. I was someone who hated it for the longest time until I saw that trailer. And I'm really looking forward to it. I believe it releases September 24th. I will be checking that out. Now, because of the spooky season starting up, I want to talk about some big horror updates that we kind of got regarding some movies. The first thing I really want to talk about is a movie that I was actually really looking forward to. I believe it comes out some point next year. It was supposed to come out, one of them was at least. And that's Insidious 6. If you don't know what Insidious is, it's basically kind of like The Conjuring because it's directed by James Wan, the first one, and honestly, it's that and The Conjuring. Those are the only like supernatural movies that I really like for the most part. The horror regarding demons and horror, and I was really looking forward to Insidious 6. I watched the franchise for the first time. I actually binged it with one of my really good friends. If you're watching this, hi, and we both loved it. We were scared. It was awesome, and I will say I was a little bit guilty pleasured, but also still kind of disappointed with Insidious 5 because it was doing everything that I was asking for. Hot take, I think the fourth one is actually really good. Yes, the third one, yes, sucks. But there was an update regarding the sixth entry, and Lynn Shay, who was like the old lady who can see the the monsters, who's basically Lorraine Warren, basically. She's gonna be a character, one of the main characters again in this movie. She is literally the cornerstone of this franchise, and she is going to be joined by a new cast member of Emilia Eve in the next movie releasing at some point next summer, which really gets me excited. This gets me hyped. I'm looking forward to it. But the thing that I was talking about was because this was a movie that we were never promised. This was a movie called Thread and Insidious Tale. In fact, I believe there was two Insidious movies that was being called one of them, which was going to be Mandy Moore and Kumail Nanjiani. Basically, it was going to be, talking about a group of family who lost their son, and it was actually going to involve time travel, basically where they go to the further, which is stuff that were introduced in the second Insidious movie, and basically they were going to go back to maybe one of the first ever encounters, maybe going back to the Egyptian times, and basically, about those types of things. And when they do get their son back, it causes lots of mayhem. And I was so invested by that, but it's apparently done. It's been finished, but we've had no updates for a whole year now. No updates, no nothing on this movie. And so it's is it bad? Did it get canceled? So I'm just wondering for a trailer for that. That literally could release tomorrow and it would already be finished. You hear it here that there's a new Insidious sequel in the works coming out next year. Are you hyped like me for this movie, or do you think they should just stop this franchise because The Conjuring just ended theirs? And actually, the next topic I'm talking about, I wasn't really gonna make this a topic. I have yet to see The Conjuring Last Rites. I don't know if I ever will. If I do, I might make a review on it. But The Conjuring Last Rites had a huge box office, becoming the highest grossing horror movie opening, and I think horror movie of all time, surpassing It Chapter 1 and Chapter 2's opening. And it had us this week because of that. It had a 70% drop with the release of The Long Walk, the Downton Abbey, but it had a 70% drop, and people are saying, "Oh no, it's gonna flop. It's not gonna do well." There is no need to worry, ladies and gentlemen. That movie has the highest grossing of a horror film of all time. You think its 70% drop is going to make an impact? But it's just another opening weekend. I'm pretty sure it's still in third place, and I'm pretty sure it beat The Long Walk in the box office. And so I'm pretty sure it's pretty good. Yes, my mom and grandma went to go see Downton Abbey together. Yes, people were hyped for that movie because it's a finale. So don't expect to be something crazy about that. So yeah, I think The Conjuring 4's drop, I don't think it's really gonna affect it at all, if I'm being honest. So yeah, Conjuring 4 Last Rites, box office drop. Are you scared, or do you think it's fine? I personally think it's fine. Now, the last horror update I want to talk about is some Scream 7 updates. We got some interesting Scream 7 updates. Look, you all know I'm hyped for Scream 7. Probably my most it's not probably. It is my most anticipated horror movie of next year. And so I'm really on the hype train, controversy aside. And so we got some interesting updates regarding Gale, the twins, and the trailer. And let me just talk about the trailer itself. So somebody on X, I forget their name, they're just a huge person on Scream News on X, and basically they were talking about how they have not seen the trailer yet, but they do not think, or they've not heard yet at least, that the trailer is dropping in September, even though they really hope so. I hope so. I think we all want to hope so. He said that what 3C Films said, because 3C Films did a whole video about the Scream 7 trailer, that he's heard scenes from the movie that are true to that trailer. And so, yeah, I'm praying it's not going to be in November with The Running Man. And if it does come a little later, I think it would be perfect to release it around October, the Halloween season. But let's all pray that it's September. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is, now with the Scream 7 updates, we got some interesting updates around the Meeks twins and Gale. Now, I'm going to talk about Gale first. We love Gale. I love Gale. She is one of my favorite characters of the franchise, and I am really interested in what she's going to do. Now, I did talk about in an earlier video of how her screen time is going to be around the same time as Scream 2, and apparently we got a reveal on her outfit, that her outfit is going to be a red dress, and that there's going to be a silky blue dress that she's going to wear, kind of similar to Scream 6, and kind of similar to the one that she wore in Scream 5. And I think that's fine with me. I don't think you're why does that matter? It doesn't, honestly. I don't know why I said that it matters. It doesn't. But a person that I love watching, who does a lot of horror updates, basically he says here that this is going to be, his name is Jude, but on a guy I like to watch named Killjoy Jake, who does a lot of horror movie updates. I highly recommend his stuff. He basically was talking about in some of the videos, but he also says here that Gale comes to town in one of her strongest entrances yet in Scream 7, spiraling through career struggles and tasting her own medicine under cancel culture. Which, before I say more, it's kind of shocking that basically Gale is now becoming unpopular, which was something I never really thought about, because while we're getting, talk show hosts being canceled, most, people on cable or on the news don't really get much credit anymore. And Gale's been doing this since, the 90s. And so, now that she's kind of getting canceled is kind of crazy. And basically, she's just not getting much viewership anymore. And apparently, I know there was a rumor a while back that there was going to be a scene where Sydney comes on the show and that Ghostface actually calls the studio and stuff. It basically says that she's on the hot seat like never before. She unmasks a key part of the chaos, and her arc is rich and full of substance. Which really gets me happy that this might be the best we've seen of Gale and Sydney yet. The fact that Kevin Williams is putting all of his work is getting me really excited, giving us a true payoff to Gale and Sydney in this movie, because people are saying that this is their best ones yet. Gets me really pumped, really excited, and I think that Gale is such a important character to the Scream universe that I would love to see her and Ghostface fight again, just like Scream 6. And honestly, we do not know what's going to happen to Gale. We kind of just don't know what her fate's going to be in this movie. She has probably been struggling a lot, and we even seen it in Scream 6. And spoiler warning, Skip 5 seconds, Dewey's death. We know that that has caused her through so much pain, so much loss, and that we just don't know what she's been through. Maybe she's just lost her, substance, basically. I know I'm going to sound like a broken record, and I don't want this to happen. Maybe Kevin Williamson is fine. Since the writers of this movie did do 5 and 6, maybe they kill off Gale. I know, I don't want it to happen, and I know it was kind of teased in Scream 6. I don't think she's gonna die. If she does, I wouldn't say I would be surprised, but I might be a little shocked. But I would say I didn't say it before. I think that would kind of be a good setup for her character finally going full circle from being the douchey scumbag reporter to helping Sydney and her family, becoming a good woman and truly not a careless, money-hungry scumbag all along. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the Meeks twins. If you don't know who I'm talking about, Randy and Mindy, they're the only core 4 characters returning for this movie. And we did hear that they're not going to be as important in Scream 5 and Scream 6 because, they're going to be apparently, working for Gale, which I don't know how I still don't feel good about that. But I think they're definitely might, they both or one of them might die, but I think I would like Sam and... I think I would like Sam and Tara to be with them at least, because having the core 4 there be together. But we actually hear a cool thing that they're going to do in this plot, in this movie, according to Scoops. I've been hearing so much Scoops for this movie that it kind of just doesn't feel surprising anymore, and I kind of hate all these Scoops that we've been hearing. But look, it's Scream. I have to. I'm doing this for you guys. So let's just kind of look inside. Basically, what this is hinting towards is somebody is one of the twins maybe dying. And, as much as I think that is going to happen, I don't want it to happen. Yes, I think they gotta kill off some character in way or form, even if that means not Sydney and Gale and maybe one of the twins has to go. I think it's gonna be Chad. I think it might be... I don't know. It's gonna be one of them. But basically in this scene, we basically asked that Sydney and Gale are working on a trap to trap Ghostface. But the twins are in an intense battle with Ghostface during this intense chase sequence or fight. I think it makes sense for them to work together since they are twins. They have been through this before twice, and that the even family have been through this, like their mom and uncle. And basically, I think that this is going to be a nice setup for one of them. And honestly, I know I'm going to sound kind of crazy for this. I think they might die like their brother. What if maybe, say, for example, they think they won, they think Ghostface escaped, but in plot twist, at least one of them gets snagged while the other one gets maybe killed or something like that. Well, maybe there's like a Ghostface in the car waiting for them both to, escape, and plot twist, they die like their brother, like how Randy got in the van, like their uncle who got killed in the van, and then, a person walked off. I think that might happen. I think that would be a cool send-off, since they definitely kind of want to make this like a non-fan service thing, but kind of doing what Scream 5 tried to do and adding all those callbacks kind of thing, but with adding a lot of new. Hey everybody, Unknown Reviewer here. Sorry about this. While editing this, something big for Scream 7 got announced. Basically, we got confirmed that Hayden Panettiere is coming back to play Kirby Reed in Scream 7. And dude, this gets me so hyped. I love Kirby. I think she is probably one of my new favorite characters. I absolutely adored her in Scream 4, and her return in Scream 6 was awesome. So I'm really hyped for this, and I cannot wait for this return. I'm curious on how she's going to play in this plot, because it was kind of told that she wasn't. But I am just excited for her. I think this is going to be awesome. I can't wait for her to come back as Ghostface, because it was reported that there was going to be like a spin-off show about her hunting down Ghostfaces across America and even like the world. So that would be awesome to see. Maybe this could be like a setup for that. But I'm really excited. What are your thoughts on this? You hear these Gale, the Meeks, and the trailer for Scream 7. Are you hyped for this movie? What are your thoughts on this? Actually, we just got some huge FNAF 3 updates from Matthew Lillard teasing a great the third entry is coming soon. And let's talk about it. He talks about, so if you don't know what I'm talking about, earlier this summer, I believe June, was it? There was a Dead by Daylight. If you don't know what Dead by Daylight, it's basically like a horror game where you get to play as like a slasher or something. They basically did a collab with Five Nights at Freddy's where you basically can become Springtrap and basically, just start slashing. One of the skins was William Afton, the Yellow Rabbit, who was the movie Springtrap, or Spring Body, whatever you want to call it, FNAF fans, I'm sorry. He basically did the voice acting, but, fun fact, he was actually asked to voice Springtrap, but he basically says here that he refused because, basically, Matthew Lillard turned down the role because he basically says here, I'm not doing Springtrap until I do Springtrap in the movie. So the only way I'll do Springtrap is if people go see the movie on December 5th, and then we make a third. Oh man, that's him teasing 3. We have been hearing sets or like leaks about 3. Apparently, it's filming later next year. It's gonna, start, beginning its like pre-production progress, and that and he says here December 5th, FNAF 2, obviously. That basically kind of tells us, I'm 99.9% sure that the ending for FNAF 2 is going to be, or like a post-credit scene, is probably going to be, him becoming Springtrap and leaving the pizzeria and basically, becoming full Springtrap. And that gets me pumped, man. Respect to Matthew Lillard for for being more invested in doing the movie than a video game, which he could get, which it's not because of the money, it's because he actually genuinely cares about the fans. And respects to Matthew Lillard. That's why he's my GOAT. That's why he's my Daddy Stu. That's why he's my Papa Shag. No, but I'm really looking forward to Matthew Lillard. Obviously, I think the whole thing that brought FNAF 1 for me was just seeing him, him going full Stu and just going crazy, becoming a killer again. And I know it's apparently rumored that his screen time is going to be very limited in 2 again. But I just get so hyped for 3 because 3, if y'all don't know, it's basically just Springtrap being the only animatronic just walking around killing people. So seeing him probably do that the entire movie gets me pumped. But we also do probably know this because the description for FNAF 2 has been released. Basically, I don't even have it pulled up. But I do remember reading that it said that the pizzeria from the first movie and animatronics are becoming rugged and kind of tearing down. There's a rotting man in your closet, probably all dead and bloodied. Guess what? He's probably going to come out all fleshy and, all crippled and stuff. That is Springtrap, and that's going to be something huge to see. What else do we got? Some FNAF 2 updates. A Popeyes collab is actually happening with FNAF 2. Maybe your boy might go get it, might go try it. I don't know. I don't know if I love Popeyes. I like Popeyes. I think it's pretty good. Personally, a Raising Cane's guy, but Popeyes still has some good chicken. But that's I'm kind of confused why they chose to do a Popeyes collab instead of a pizza collab. Can you imagine if the Five Nights at Freddy's movie collabed with Chuck E. Cheese? Only we could dream. I'm surprised that they didn't do Papa John's, Pizza Hut, or anything else. But I don't know, maybe because they did that for Universal and stuff, which I might be going to. Stay on the lookout for that vlog. But you heard here that Matthew Lillard is teasing FNAF 3. Are you excited? Are you pumped? I know all you FNAF fans and probably just general audience members are probably just really pumped for that because it's freaking Matthew Lillard. One of the things I want to talk about is Terminator 7. Now, look, Terminator, I love the first 2 Terminator movies. Those are some of my favorite movies. Say all you want. The first Terminator is a horror movie, and I do not care what you say. It is yes, it's not scary that much, but you can't lie. If they made a movie like Terminator, like a reboot today, I think they could do something because of the AI thing. But the later sequels kind of got bad. They didn't feel right. They just didn't feel good at all. But the director or writer, James Cameron, is actually in the process of making a 7th Terminator movie, but not in the way we want. Basically says that he is really excited and pumped for this movie, but the problem is that he doesn't know where to start. He's losing his mind, basically according to the person, and how he's basically kind of having a rough start and doesn't know what to do. And I know I'm gonna sound like a broken record for this, but I think we might need to close this book on Terminator. Yes, I know. What do you mean? We're in an area where AI is real and Terminators could be everywhere. That's what the whole future of the world's probably going to be like one day, with the AI taking over the world. Yeah, but the best scene of that whole thing I just said was in a movie, in the first or second movie, I forgot which one, but of the Terminators walking around, killing people. And I think that you could do something that in a modern era, and I think they could be cool. But I think if James Cameron is losing it and he doesn't know what to do, that's kind of our cue to just let's end the franchise, because there's so much you can do with it. You had you had Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back, and then you also had the villain from Judgment Day of like the liquid metal guy, and then you had the whole Terminator war with like the humans and the robots. But I feel like we're getting at a time now where, like, doesn't that just feel old to you? Yes, Terminator was the first one to do it, but I think James Cameron, I know, I want Terminator 7 to happen, and I think, honestly, it could be great. But those last Terminator movies were not that good, if I'm being honest. They weren't that great. Yes, it's James Cameron, and I don't want to hate on the man, because I love most of his work. But I think Terminator 7 should just kind of be the end of it. I think if he does find out something soon, it could be great. But if he has no idea, I think we just need to just cut it. But here, James Cameron is struggling to think of something for the Terminator 7. Are you excited, and do you agree with me that maybe we should just take a close on this franchise, or do you think maybe he could come up with something good, and are you still pumped for this movie? Now, I normally like going with Marvel last because I am a Marvel fan, and I like it better than DC. Well, maybe not its movies, but I don't know. But I kind of want to talk about this that I saw on X today, and it is that Marvel wants to have Spider-Man be the new face of the MCU, which is something that they were planning right during filming and like the time of Infinity War and Doomsday. But Chadwick Boseman passed away, nobody liked Captain Marvel, and I think just Spider-Man was just hard to do because of Sony. But since Marvel is kind of getting there to, like, getting Spider-Man back for them, I think that it's good. But they want to make another face of the MCU, and that is Doctor Doom. That kind of shocks me. I'm like, so is Doom not going to die in Infinity War, in Doomsday, or in Secret Wars? Because that kind of is like, how are you going to do it? Are you going to make a spinoff about him? Will he be the villain of the sequel for Fantastic Four? I think you could do a lot there, and I think it could be very well done and nice if it's handled well. I think that Doctor Doom is such a cool character, and he's probably my favorite Marvel villain of all time, and I think that it's been so long because of how many I think the 2000s Doctor Doom's not the worst thing, but we don't talk about the 2015 Fan Force crusty looking Doctor Doom. What are you? You sicken me. But I think that if Robert Downey Jr. is good as Doctor Doom and people start actually liking him, I think that you're cue to be like, okay, here's a new face. But I think Spider-Man being the new face, I mean, I don't even care. It could be one of the worst Spider-Man movies, but I think I'll still get a kick and enjoyment out of Tom Holland, because I do like Tom Holland. Yes, he might be my least or my second least favorite Spider-Man, but I still think that there's not a bad live-action Spider-Man yet. But I think that definitely Tom Holland being the new face would be awesome. But Doctor Doom is another thing. I think I see why, because Iron Man was the face for a long time, and maybe because of this whole RDJ playing Doctor Doom, that could do something very interesting for the most part. And so you hear that Doctor Doom and Spider-Man want to be the new face of the MCU. Kevin Feige's been talking about it. Are you excited? Are you pumped? Or you just kind of just don't care? Now, the final topic I really want to talk about, because I was honestly thinking about making this its own video until I saw these other updates, and I was like, okay, I'll talk about that. And that is Batman Part 2. Let me grab something real quick. Alright, I'm ready. But the Batman Part 2 is probably my most anticipated movie of 2027. Yeah, I think I might have it higher against Superman 2 and even Secret Wars. But I think that maybe I might not be. But recently Matt Reeves was in an interview. He was at the awards for the Penguin, and he was asked a ton of questions regarding the Batman Part 2, which we got a lot of answers to, and some of them I'm excited, and not at the same time, and that fans are really divided if you look on X. So let's just get into the Batman Part 2 news that we've gotten from Matt Reeves. Basically, the first thing we got is that this is going to be another detective story, which, yes! Loved the first one for being so detective and truly making Batman the world's greatest detective. And if it's going to be another detective story, that's going to be great. I can't wait for that. He was also asked about, Penguin and how that's going to work out. He basically kind of replied by saying, Penguin, because he was at the Emmys for the Penguin Rewards, which, great show. He was kind of saying that Penguin's screen time is going to be limited, and he's probably going to have less screen time than he did in the last Batman movie, which I know a lot of people complain about that. I personally don't have a gripe about that. I think that's fine. I would like to get more Colin Farrell's Penguin, because the Penguin made me really like him a lot, and I would have been fine with that, but I don't know. But Matt Reeves is also saying what the movie is going to be about for Batman and Bruce Wayne. Now, instead of Batman, because of Rob Pattinson's Batman, which is a Batman that I loved, no disrespect, but Christian Bale will always be my favorite.
What gives you the right? What's the difference between you and me?
I'm not wearing hockey pads.
Though Rob Pattinson could change that with this sequel. He said that he's going to be more falling into the Bruce Wayne aspect, which is something that I kind of wanted for him, because he kind of didn't care about being Bruce Wayne anymore. I mean, he kind of said that he didn't care about his family's legacy, and that the Riddler kind of almost made him kind of care less because of how corrupt his parents were. His mother being in the asylum a lot, his father kind of covering that up, and so that can also be a good, interesting, tale for Bruce. But he says that the things that the film does for his character, for Batman and Bruce, I think it's never been done before this way. Which is kind of interesting, because we have gotten, there's been times where we've had Batman, an origin story for Batman Begins. We've had, the whole tale of the Dark Knight from becoming an origin to, a real brute Batman. We do Michael Keaton's Batman, I guess. I mean, it wasn't an origin story. It was kind of him already being Batman. And I kind of think that, I guess he's right. We've never had a movie where it's about Bruce Wayne and the Dark Knight, because I think that the Dark Knight trilogy was more heavily on the Bruce Wayne aspect, which I know a lot of people complain about that. Shut up. You're telling me that that's not your Bruce Wayne? I guess if you want to compare Ben Affleck, maybe, but even then, Ben Affleck didn't even have much Bruce Wayne persona. I don't like Ben Affleck's Batman. I mean, I like his Batman moments, I just don't like the killing aspect. Sofia Falcone, who was one of the new characters in the Penguin show, who was a character that I actually really did like, and I was invested in her character. He was asked if she's going to be in this movie. He said no. Basically, he kind of just said no. He's going to be in this movie, and she's not going to be in this movie, and I'm kind of fine with that. I mean, I don't really know where you would do with her. I think the next time we're going to see her is in the Catwoman spinoff, which they teased at the end of the Penguin series, with her getting that letter from Selina, who was Catwoman in the first Batman, and I think we could see a spinoff show about them too. Then maybe they could be in another Batman film, because Batman, Selina, Kyle have a good relationship, and that would be nice to see her sister, and maybe how she could be different than Selina, or maybe they're related, I don't know. But let me talk about the big three that people are really divided on. The first one I think I'm not divided on. In fact, I've never thought this. Matt Reeves, from himself on X, as I'm reading it right now, says the Batman universe is going to be a DC Elseworld project.
And we're working with them on this. I mean, yeah. It's a DC, so it's Elseworld, but it's DC, so it's theirs as well. So
people, Elseworld. But he's opening to direct a DC Universe film, which I do not have a problem with. Look, I don't know why people think this. I mean, you clearly think that Ron Pattinson's dark, grounded, serious Batman is going to be in the DC Universe. I get why those rumors started, and I know those rumors have been getting back up since the Clayface set leaks with that Batman logo in the dumpster. And people are just saying that because he's also a producer on that film, and I get why, but he gets to produce. I'm pretty sure he's allowed to produce all the Batman films that are in the DC as we speak right now. And I think that people are kind of so crazy about it. I think I've always believed that Batman will never merge. The merging will never happen. I don't think it will. Honestly, I don't think it will. And I think if it ever does merge, it probably would not be in 10, 15 years in like a multiverse movie where like this Batman meets other Batmans. Could you imagine if we get a Batman No Way Home type movie where we get Christian Bale, Ben Affleck, Michael Keaton? We almost kind of got that with Michael Keaton's Batman The Flash, but still, only we could dream. But honestly, I don't think Christian Bale will ever come back unless Christopher Nolan's a part of the project, or Ben Affleck kind of did retire. Michael Keaton also kind of slightly did retire. I don't know. So we kind of just had, and I think that maybe, I'm still waiting for the DC Universe Batman to get announced. When are we getting that announced? Now, I'll talk about the thing that a lot of people are also wondering, Robin.
I want a car. Chicks dig the car. Get out!
Look, not only James Gunn or Matt Reeves, mainly Matt Reeves, if he's ever asked a question, he normally always says, like, straight up, yes, no. And when someone asks him about Robin, kind of sounds like we might be getting Robin this movie. Maybe not Robin, but Robin's character of Dick Grayson or whoever. Matt Reeves basically gets asked this question. He basically says here, well, sure, talk about everything. There's probably not a character that we didn't talk about. What could be? What could that be? That's part of beginning of anything. And right there, that kind of says, we might be getting Robin. Look, even my dad noticed it when we went to go see Batman back in 2022, is that the boy in the opening, who was the son of the mayor, or whoever it was, when the Riddler killed them, Batman looked at that boy, relating to him as losing a parent, and what is Dick? He's an orphan. His parents were killed as a trapeze, but I know that probably would be too fantastical. I don't think it would be fantastical, but still, this could probably be our way. Maybe I know I don't want to get demonetized, but say the mom pows herself or something, or like does something to her, or dies in a car crash, gets killed, or something like happens to her because of the loss of the mayor, or just something shocking happens. What if Batman takes that boy in, and maybe that like sets up the Robin storyline? I think because you keep seeing him look at that kid like at the beginning, the middle, and the end, and that kind of just says to me like that's Robin. Like that has to be Robin. And by now it's gonna be like 5, because apparently I believe they're beginning filming next month. So we could be seeing leaks, set photos, because that's kind of what we saw when the first Batman filming is. And they're not going to be like Avengers Doomsday where they're like crowded in a house. They like actually using like real city like areas. And I think that it's going to look awesome. I cannot wait to see the new suit of like Batman and Robin. But I think that you could do something really good with the Batman and Robin story, like in a grounded universe. Because the only time we ever saw this was in the Joel Schumacher films, or the Michael Keaton type films if you want, or whatever you want to call them. So I guess that could be a good interesting thing to do. I don't know. I think a grounded, dark Robin story could be awesome, and I think that could set up maybe by the third movie we get an actual Robin. And maybe they could handle it well. But let's get into the real big thing that people have been asking for a long time. The villain of Batman Part 2. For the longest time, I've been wanting Mr. Freeze, and I think my top 3 have been Mr. Freeze, Mr. Freeze, Scarecrow. I know a lot of people want Court of Owls. I think I would like that to be like the final, or like the second to final film, because they are kind of like the pulling of the strings, evil ones. So maybe I would like them to be the final one, but if they were the villain, I would be fine with that. And I know a lot of people don't want it because it would be too similar to Riddler. But I do like Hush, but I don't think I would want him to be in the second film, because we kind of just already got that with the Riddler. And basically, Matt Reeves was asked this. He didn't give us a clarification answer. But from the sound of it, it looks like we might be getting the villain that we kind of already were expecting. And a lot of fans are mixed and are actually kind of negative to this response. Let's talk about it. But Matt Reeves basically says the villain in this movie is going to be a villain that's never been done before on live action media. And that really gets me sad, man, because that basically kind of says Mr. Freeze. And you're probably wondering, wait, did we get Mr. Freeze? Unfortunately, we did with Batman and Robin with Arnold Schwarzenegger. And that also kind of eliminates Scarecrow, because Scarecrow has also been done in the Dark Knight trilogy. So that kind of also eliminates one of our villains. And what villain has not been used before, ladies and gentlemen? Hush. But let's talk about what he kind of says here about what this villain that he wants to be. Basically, Matt Reeves says the villain for Batman Part 2 will be connected to Bruce Wayne's history and life. And he basically says here, picking the right villain that digs into what that does, that sort of goes into the past and his life. That was what drove that discussion. I won't tell you guys where we ended up, but we're super excited about it, and I will say it's never really been done in a movie before. And that kind of just says Hush. Because, look, I love Hush. I don't care what people say. Hush is one of my favorite Batman villains. One of my guilty pleasure villains, if you will. Look, I love the Joker. I like Scarecrow. I like Mr. Freeze. I like Bane. I like most of the iconic villains more than Hush. But if it comes down to it, I think Hush is in my top 10 Batman villains. I would say that he's maybe not in my top 5, but I think he could be close up there. I know. There's even been a script that I have around me somewhere where I wrote a script about a Batman movie with Hush as the villain, and I will maybe read it one day. It's kind of bad, the Hush thing that I did make in there. But if you don't know who Hush is, I'll give you a little rundown. Hush is basically one of Bruce Wayne's childhood friends who he grew up with. Unfortunately, around the time of Bruce Wayne's parents, Hush's parents were also killed but died in a car crash, with him surviving. Basically, he was a surgeon, basically taking inspiration from Bruce Wayne's father, and over time, because of their distant relationship, because of their parents' loss, Hush became more vulgar. But Hush basically grew up becoming more jealous of Bruce because of his lifestyle, growing up in a nice house, not being an orphan, but not being thrown away because he lost all of his parents' money, not putting any wealth into him. But Bruce Wayne's parents did, basically setting up a relationship. One day, Hush goes mad because he became a surgeon one time, because of the likeness of Bruce Wayne's father, who was a surgeon. That's why they're so rich. And basically, what happens is one day he removes his face and starts becoming a psychopathic murderer, taking other people's faces and making a bandaged face, but he takes bits and pieces of their faces and basically makes Bruce Wayne's face, making Bruce Wayne look like a psychopathic serial killer instead of his own face, and basically makes Batman or Bruce Wayne look like a psychopath. And I think that's such a cool, unique villain, because you can't really think, because the Joker is not connected to the Batman unless you want to count the Jack Nicholson Joker for killing his parents, because it's just a clown. It's just an iconic villain. The Riddler, he was never connected. Yes, they might have had a similar origin story of being orphans, but still. Bane, just a dumb brute, besides Tom Hardy, my goat. So I think Hush could be a very unique villain, but I know a lot of people are divided because this honestly could just be another Riddler story. Saying this since the beginning, since Batman 1 was released, because of that Hush thing on screen with Thomas Wayne. I don't think that was a hint, but that could definitely be a nod, because Matt Reeves likes grounded villains, and I think that could definitely work out. Look, all I'm saying is I'm just happy that it's not the Joker, because I don't want the Joker to be the villain until the final film, if I'm being honest. I will say, I've been thinking about making a script for you guys about a Batman Year 1 story, where the Joker was the first villain that Batman ever fought, and I think that'd be an awesome movie. But for the finale of the Batman, a spin-off like Batman, how him and the Joker met, and how this could be their final altercation or something. I don't know, it's just some idea I have. If you really look about it and think of all the villains, it's gotta be Hush. I think it has to be Hush. So we kind of just have to accept that it's going to be Hush. It's going to be a grounded villain. I think you could definitely do Mr. Freeze grounded. I mean, have him, you know that gun that Art the Clown uses to kill that Santa Claus thing, the Hydro gun or whatever we call those things, where he basically makes him frozen? You can use that, right? Make him blue. Make him have a skin disorder. Oh, that's going to sound messed up. But look, I think it's Matt Reeves you're talking here. The Riddler. The Riddler is still one of my favorite Batman villains, but I think he would not work well. I think the Riddler, when I first heard he was going to be the villain, thought he wasn't going to work well since we got Jim Carrey. Look, Jim Carrey's my favorite actor, and I do have a little bias to that Riddler, but still, he's just quirky, just kind of like another Joker. But I swear, if Matt Reeves went to make if Matt Reeves probably directed that Clayface movie, he would probably make it great. And there was rumors a while back that this was going to be Clayface and going to be the slasher Clayface. But I think that because it's Matt Reeves, he's such a good director. I love his Planet of the Apes movies. I love the Batman. I love all of his work. I think that he's going to make Hush such a great character. And honestly, he has the ability to make him a top 3, top 5 Batman villain of all time in live action media. So I think that we just gotta let Matt Reeves cook with this villain. I'm happy with this choice. I know a lot of people, yes, I would prefer to be Mr. Freeze or someone else because it's just another killer guy running mad. I think it can still work, and yeah. But the final thing I want to talk about with the Batman Part 2 is Batman 3. Basically, he's asked that, and he says he has no idea if Batman 3 will happen. Honestly, I think it kind of will, but then again, I don't know if it will. I think we just kind of have to wait till Batman Part 2 releases and the DC Universe Bat Brave and the Bold releases. I think depending on the box office of those movies, if both of them make a high budget, that means both people are both interested in this universe. I think they're going to keep going because you know, James Gunn and Matt Reeves have sat down before to talk to each other about this universe deal. People loved the Robin Pattinson Batman. James Gunn knew that. Matt Reeves knew that. I think they're just going to have two Batmans just, you know, be, like, I think every 2 years there's going to be a new Batman-related film disconnected from both the universes, and I think that's how it's going to work, but I think it just has to depend on the box office. If people, like, are not interested in the Robin Pattinson Batman, say, like, well, how much did the last one make? Wasn't it, like, $1 billion? How much money did the Batman make in the box office? $770.9 million worldwide and $369.3 domestically. I would not be surprised if the next one makes $1 billion, but say that makes like $400 million or like 500. Like, say that makes like $600 million. Maybe people aren't less interested. And I think if, say, like, for example, Brave and the Bold makes like $800 million, I think that kind of proves that maybe, like, what if that happens? Or it could be the complete opposite. Maybe, like, Batman Part 2 makes $1 billion. I think Batman Part 2 definitely won't gross $1 billion. Are you kidding me? The reactions to fans and, like, the word of mouth of the first one, I think everybody has seen the Batman on streaming. Also, too, it did kind of release on HBO the same day, right? Right? Or am I dumb? But you hear all these Batman Part 2 updates. Are you excited? Are you scared? Are your thoughts on the villain? Are your thoughts on Robin? What are your thoughts on all these things going on? And are you excited for the Batman Part 2? Or are you just not? But that, everybody, is the video today. I just want to thank you all for tuning in. We've hit 47 subs. Let's hit that 50 mark, please, so we can start streaming. I can talk to you all face to face live. We can talk movie updates. You can all ask me questions. We can do whatever, reactive videos, whatever you want me to do. Okay, not whatever you want me to do, but just thank you. Love you all. Love your faces. I am the Unknown Reviewer. Take care. Peace.